But first, today the Prime Minister hands down a major defence review, the most damning finding that Australia is not ready for conflict with China or for the modern age of missile warfare. The review said the Australian Defence Force is not fit for purpose for our current strategic circumstances. Here's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese making that admission today.
The recommendations of this review will underpin our work bolstering relationships with our international partners and promoting peace, stability and prosperity in our region and our world.
The review recommends transforming the ADF into a more lethal force, having a higher state of readiness. It says it's important to preserve the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific, the backdrop being China's military modernisation. The review explicitly states that China is our greatest challenge and says the United States is no longer the unipolar leader of the region.
We are facing the most challenging set of strategic circumstances that we have for decades. And the defence posture that we have had for the last few decades has served our nation well. But in the circumstances that we now face, that defence posture is no longer fit for purpose.
The review identifies 6 areas for immediate action: the acquisition of nuclear-powered subs through AUKUS, developing the ADF's ability to precisely strike targets at longer range and to manufacture munitions in Australia, improving the ADF's ability to operate from Australia's northern bases, initiatives to improve the growth and retention of a highly skilled defence force, rapidly translate disruptive new technologies into ADF capability, and deepening our diplomatic and defence partnerships with our key partners in the Indo-Pacific. One of the biggest parts of this is the need to expand long-range strike capabilities to deter any military action against Australia, to focus on buying more missiles and fewer vehicles. The reason for this? There's only a remote possibility of a continental invasion. But this point is sharp. The threat of the use of military force or coercion against Australia does not require invasion. Of course, this is referring to cyber warfare. The review also found that climate change is a national security risk and that the ADF should be a last resort for disaster relief. So governments shouldn't be calling on our defence to help with bushfires and floods. Now, to achieve all of these outcomes that are needed to protect Australia, the Labor government says defence spending needs to grow. These recommendations alone will cost $19 billion over 4 years. This on top of the submarine cost and on top of the burgeoning NDIS cost. Here was Shadow Defence Minister Andrew Hastie today reacting to the findings.
Today's announcement is a smokescreen to hide the truth about the DSR, the delays to strategic direction, the deferral of spending and the cannibalising of capability as the Labor government cost shift within the defence budget.
And the former Deputy Director of the Defence Department, Peter Jennings, will join me later tonight to discuss these findings.